Hello and welcome to a fresh new episode of Science Monitor, our weekly update on all that is happening in the field of science and technology in and around the country. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let us take a look at the headlines first. IRNSS 1G completes the Regional Navigation Satellite Plan. 7th satellite launched successfully by ISRO. Ethanol from cellulose. India launches the first second-generation plant in Kashipur. Curtains lift on the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair 2016. Indian team attends flag-off ceremony. And in our In Focus segment today, we will discuss about challenges faced by women following a career in research and technology. And now the news in detail. To achieve country's own GPS and navigation system, ISRO has successfully launched IRNSS 1G, the 7th and the final satellite of the 7 series navigation satellite system. The launch that happened on 28th of April from Sriharikota marks the completion of India's ambitious Regional Navigation Satellite System project. India will now have its own navigation system at par with the global positioning system of the United States.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
India has finally made it its own navigation system.
0 plus 1.
Yes, following the recent success of IRNSS 1F, scientists at ISRO have successfully launched the 7th and final satellite of the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, IRNSS 1G. IRNSS 1G was launched aboard Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV C-33 on 28 April at 12:50 p.m. EST from the first launch pad at the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota.
आज नेविगेशन के क्षेत्र में भारत ने अपना 7वां सैटेलाइट लॉन्च किया है। 7 सैटेलाइट एक के बाद एक सफलतापूर्वक लॉन्च किए गए और इस सिद्धि के कारण आज भारत दुनिया के उन 5 देशों में गर्व के साथ खड़ा हो गया कि जिसमें उसकी अपनी जीपीएस सिस्टम, उसकी अपनी नेविगेशन सैटेलाइट सिस्टम निर्माण हो गई।
IRNSS 1G, with a mass of 1,425 kgs, has a 12-year mission life. With a configuration much similar to its predecessors, it is carrying 2 types of payloads, namely navigation and ranging payloads. The navigation payload operating in L5 band and S band will transmit navigation service signals to the users. A highly accurate rubidium atomic clock is also part of the navigation payload of the satellite. The ranging payload of IRNSS 1G consists of a C-band transponder, which facilitates accurate determination of the range of the satellite. The design of the payloads make the IRNSS system interoperable and compatible with both the US GPS and European Galileo system. IRNSS 1G is the final satellite in the 7 series Indian Regional Navigational Satellite System, that is IRNSS series of satellites after IRNSS 1A and 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E and 1F. The Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, shortly known as IRNSS, is India's indigenous satellite navigation system and has been developed by ISRO. Unlike the global navigation systems existing, the IRNSS navigation system will be under the total control of Indian government. IRNSS aims to provide navigational and security services to India and provide accurate position information service to users in the country as well as the region extending up to 1500 kilometers from its boundary. The system will help in terrestrial and marine navigation, disaster management, vehicle tracking and fleet management.
One solution that has emerged to tackle the problem of dwindling fuel supplies and increasing environmental stress is the blending of biofuel like ethanol in petrol and diesel. And it is a win-win situation if the biofuel is produced from the existing waste. In just an endeavour, India has launched its first second-generation ethanol plant in Kashipur. Not only this, the indigenously developed technology converts agricultural waste into ethanol in less than 24 hours. Have a look at the report to know more.
In the rapidly industrializing world, the one commodity which sees ever-increasing demand is, needless to say, energy. This is also the reason why fossil fuels like coal and petroleum has seen rapid decline in the recent years with evident adverse impacts on environment. In view of this, India has made it mandatory to blend 5% renewable biofuel like ethanol with petrol and diesel. While biofuel blending in diesel is presently nil, the petrol blending today stands at an overall of about 3% in the form of first generation, that is 1G or molasses-based ethanol. The country plans to scale up the production of ethanol in the coming years. Along these lines, India has established its first 2G ethanol production plant with the aim of scaling up ethanol production. The plant was recently inaugurated in Kashipur, Uttarakhand by the Union Minister of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Aishwarya. The plant is based on the globally competitive indigenous feedstock independent technology developed by DBT ICT Center for Energy Biosciences at the Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, supported by DBT and the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council.
शायद यहीं से एक आने वाले समय के लिए वो नया इतिहास शुरू होगा जहां अगली नई जनरेशन के लिए भी हम सबको उत्साह मिलेगा। इथेनॉल से ब्यूटेनॉल की तरफ जाने में भी उत्साह मिलेगा और अभी जो केवल 3% हम पेट्रोल में ब्लेंडिंग कर पा रहे हैं, जिसका लक्ष्य आने वाले 5 साल के अंदर 20% तक है।
It has been a major impact on Uttarakhand and the economy, but also this is a company which has kept pace with technology, uses green chemistry in many of its aspects, and is adventurous in futuristic technology. This is rare, and the amplification of such an attitude by our industry can transform our country. There are no shortage of extraordinary solutions which are available from science and technology all over the world and from India. There are no shortage of problems which need to be solved in India, but this kind of an attitude from the private sector to experiment and take them forward is really vital.
The plant, with a capacity of 10 tons of biomass per day, works by converting lingocellulosic agricultural residues like bagasse, rice straw, wheat straw, bamboo, cotton stalk, corn stover, wood chips to ethanol in less than 24 hours. Ethanol blending in petrol increases the oxygen content in the fuel and ensures 100% clean combustion of petrol. This helps reduce vehicle exhaust emission to large extents. Apart from this, ethanol blending can also go a long way in reducing the import burden of crude petroleum, saving foreign exchange, fetching income to sugarcane farmers, along with protecting environment and opening up new avenues of employment.
have been lifted from the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair. Shortly known as the Intel ISEF program, it is the world's largest international pre-college science competition. A group of students selected from all over India is also taking part in this competition. The students attended a flag-off ceremony in the national capital. As enthusiastic students eagerly await their turn, the coming days are set to see a lot of young students in action. Let us have a look at the report.
The stage is set and curtains have been lifted as students eagerly await their turn to display their skills. The Indian students selected for the 2016 Intel International Science and Engineering Fair, popular as Intel ISEF, has been flagged off in a special ceremony.
Basically we have different categories, and our project goes in the category of biomedical and health sciences. So we are focusing on something which is effective in the field of chronic disease treatment and health sciences. Feeling wonderful and waiting for something, hoping for something to get some prize for this.
Nowadays laser light is used everywhere in laboratories, militaries, etc. And here there is no proper apparatus to protect the eyes. So I made a thin film which can be integrated in the laser safety glasses, and this can block laser light which damages the human eye, and if this comes to the market it can save millions of lives.
Intel ISEF, conducted by the Society for Science and the public in collaboration with Intel, is the world's largest international pre-college science competition. This year, the event is being held in Phoenix, Arizona during 8th to 13th May. Approximately 17,000 high school students from over 75 countries will participate in the event and compete for approximately $4 million in prizes. According to reports, Indian team at Intel ISEF also includes the 12 winners of Intel Initiative for Research and Innovation in Science, or IRIS, conducted last year. Intel ISEF, which works in coordination numerous corporate, academic, government and science-focused sponsors, aims to encourage young scientific minds to showcase their talent on an international stage, where renowned researchers review and judge their work. As a part of the event, 12th May has been declared as Public Day, and organizers have invited students and public to participate in a hands-on interactive science workshop and meet the Intel ISEF finalists.
And now it is time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more science news. Keep watching Science Monitor. From Marie Curie to Dorothy Hodgkin, from Ada Yonath to UU2, the world is strewn with women researchers who have excelled in their chosen field of research. Yet, centuries after women have stepped into the once male-dominated world of science, the question remains: do women in science enjoy equal opportunities? While the answer seems somewhat closer to a no, Science Monitor team explores the challenges faced by women trying to pursue an active career in the field of scientific research.
March 7, 2013, the world-acclaimed journal Nature, in the memory of its editor Maxine Clark, brought out a special issue called Women in Science, outlining the problems faced by women who pursue careers in academics and research. These clearly indicate that women in science face many challenges. Many other studies also show how, despite higher degrees including graduation, post-graduation and even doctorates in science, women are severely underrepresented in the sciences. While data show that women outperform men academically and have higher graduation rates, female researchers in many parts of the world have 20 to 30% diminished chances of equal employment as compared to their male counterparts. The reasons, if one is to explore, are many. And it is a complex combination of social, cultural and financial factors. While many of us may disagree, but there exists a deeply rooted conscious and unconscious gender bias which still stereotypes scientific disciplines as masculine fields. As a result of this, young women, even though competent, are often discouraged from pursuing intensely competitive field of scientific research. Experts explain the underrepresentation of women in academia by a term called the leaky pipeline. The term refers to the postdoctoral years when women are often seen to drop active research as they find relocation to new cities with spouse and children difficult. It might come as shocking, but due to the existing gender bias, women researchers worldwide comparatively receive less support for their research in the form of funding, lab space, office support and grants for equipment and travel. While science to a large extent remains institutionally gender biased, there exists a need to fill this gap. A recent step towards addressing this issue is the constitution of an 18-member standing committee that will ensure equal opportunities for women in science in the country. With measures like this, we can hope to close the gender gap in the scientific society and include more women researchers towards the betterment of society.
To discuss further this issue, we have with us today Dr. Monica Kaul, who is the Assistant Professor from Hansraj College, New Delhi. Welcome to Dr. Kaul to our studio. Dr. Kaul, generally you will find girl students excelling in science. They also pursue higher studies with the same subject. But then why do we find less women working in the field of research and technology?
Yes, it's a very important issue which is being discussed all over. Being in Hansraj College, which is the premier college of University of Delhi, I see many girl students outshine boys at undergraduate level. But at higher ranks in hierarchy of science and technology, you don't see them there at the top. Probably there are many reasons, I guess, for this. What we see in case of women development is mostly seen in the metropolitan cities. We still have stereotypes, gender bias, which is still prevalent in majority of parts of India. We still need to work very hard. Girls get married at a particular age, and if they don't get married at a particular age, there are social issues. Right. So they do excel, but at a particular age, they have to decide where to go. And most often they go for marriage, and then whatever they have achieved till 25, 26, they have to put a comma or a full stop to it. And
is it only the burden of domestic responsibility that actually affects their growth, or probably there are also less opportunities for women in the field of science?
I guess in past 1 decade, things have changed in terms of what is available to them. If we go back to decade, probably there were not much opportunities, but all over the world there's a trend which suggests that there are things which need to be done where women should be included. There should be inclusive education, inclusive science and research, and gender bias should not be there. But I think besides the what is being done by government and other agencies, there are social stigmas, there are social barriers which are still prevalent. For example, they cannot travel much. If they have to raise to higher levels, they'll have to interact more, go for international conferences. But then there is a think that they have to bring their own children. They have to bear the children. That cannot be done by men.
Yes.
So there is a time lapse which happens in between that. Then, you know, being mother also is like bringing up your own child, because we are tuned in that kind of a setup. So all these things together, I must say that social and domestic pressure is more than the other pressures.
Right. But speaking about the government now, do the government organization have any really policy to encourage women in the field of science? Do they have any system really to encourage their participation?
I must acknowledge one thing, that there are lots of things to be that are being done, but they are still nowhere near the glass ceiling. We have to break that barrier of reaching at the top. There are certain initiatives which have been taken by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, DBT, UGC had started certain workshops to encourage women to enter into science. DST has certain fellowship programs, but we need to work a lot in order to bring everyone into the platform. These policies mostly do not have that much of reach as they should be.
Okay.
They're confined to certain sectors. And we need women from all quarters to come in.
Yes.
You know, when we talk about science and technology, we need their empowerment in all sectors. So I think government has to do much more than what is being done.
Apart from the government programs, what else can be done to encourage more and more women to pursue and maintain their careers in science?
Besides government intervention, I guess we have to change the stereotype and we have to encourage the girl students right from the primary level to secondary level. You know, you have CBSE toppers as girls, but then they don't take up science because the number of hours you need to do higher science. Biological and natural sciences need experimentation where you have to give a lot of time. Then they have to stay outdoors for longer duration.
Yes.
There should be certain safety guidelines also in the institutions where women are working long hours. Sometimes they set up experiments late nights and they might have to stay, but then there are certain issues which are to be dealt with. I think in order to encourage more women in science and technology, we have to have inclusive policies wherein not only education at each level, right from primary, secondary and tertiary level has to be improvised, but the general conditioning of the people have to be changed. We have to break the barriers of gender stereotypes.
Yes.
We have to give them top positions, which is not being given. They are, you know, you have many university teachers who are ladies, but then when it comes to vice chancellors, when it comes to heads of the research institutes, you find very few. It is very sad situation where you have at the entry level many women entering in, but then when you reach the top brass, you have very few. You can count them on numbers. It's not even 10%. That is a sad state. So there has to be an overall rethinking on the entire issue
Absolutely.
of women
Males
in
and
science.
females actually possess equal potential to develop the skills which are required for the pursuit of science. It is actually a waste of talent and that the two sexes do not participate equally in science, and we do hope that greater push is given to remedy the gender imbalance in the participation in the country. Thank you so much, Dr. Kaul, for joining us. Thank you so much. Well, that is all for this episode of Science Monitor. Do tell us how do you like our program. You can send your feedback and suggestions. Our email ID is news@vigyanprasar.gov.in. You can also write into us at Vigyan Prasar, C24, Qutub Institutional Area, New Delhi 110016. Well, that is all for today, but we'll be back with fresh news stories on science and technology again next week. Till then, stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV and think scientific. Bye-bye.